Coming up on DC News Now, a teen is shot in Hyattville, Maryland, leading to a school lockdown as police search for the suspects. We're live with those details.
The messy winter storm is set to arrive on Saturday morning. We'll continue to give you the latest on the impacts and timing with this storm system.
Plus, with that winter storm on the way, what's the best way to prepare? From your car to your home, we're helping you stay safe.
Then the teacher shot by her 6-year-old student is speaking out.
Traumatic, horrifying.
1 year later.
And the popular New Year's resolution, putting down the drinks. An expert weighs in on the benefits of dry January. It's what's going around.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thanks for joining us on this Friday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
Happy Friday, Mark. I'm Annalisa Gale. Right now, all eyes are on that winter storm making its way to the DMV, which will bring in that chilly and wet weather this weekend.
Oh, that's right, Annalisa. That chill's already here, despite the sunshine that we're seeing now. Earlier this morning, I had to run a couple of errands, Annalisa, and the temperature I thought was in the high 20s. I could be mistaken. I don't know.
It was definitely chilly out there. Let's turn over to meteorologist Damon Matson for a look at the evening forecast. How's it going, Damon?
Well, guys, that's the one thing that we don't really like to see or feel, if you will, leading up to such a messy winter storm. That colder air that is building in out there is going to have a major impact on what we see on Saturday with that storm system. And we are going to be watching these temperatures closely. At this current moment, well, we did manage to get temperatures at least into the lower 40s from the Shenandoah Valley back across northern Virginia and central Maryland here into the DC metro. So that's a little bit of an improvement from early this morning when we saw teens and 20s on the map. But nonetheless, we're going to see those temperatures drop again tonight, folks, and we will have to watch closely who falls down to or below that freezing mark, which it looks like that is going to happen by midnight tonight as clouds continue to build in with this storm system on the horizon. And check it out. We now have winter storm warnings covering all of western Maryland, the eastern panhandle, and down the I-81 corridor there in the pink. And meanwhile, in the purple here, we have winter weather advisories that now expand all the way over to the I-95 corridor and just outside of the district. And what these are showing, folks, is the fact that we have that increased possibility of at least a few hours of wintry precipitation, if not accumulating snow and ice within these warnings and advisories. So tomorrow, again, this is going to start in the morning and continue throughout the day. We will break down who could potentially see what in terms of that snow and ice and any other impacts from the storm system. That's all coming up in your full forecast here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, well, we're just several hours away from where parts of the DMV could see heavy snowfall, while some of us are preparing for mostly a rainy Saturday.
Yeah, tough weekend ahead. Our Randy Bass is joining us live from Northern Virginia now as preparations ramp up across the DMV. Randy, how are people getting ready for this winter storm?
Yeah, Mark and Annalisa, right now we're actually right outside a local hardware store, and we talked with VDOT officials today who say it might not be a bad idea for you to make a quick stop at 1-2 before winter weather gets underway tomorrow. Some things you want to keep in your car's emergency kit heading into tomorrow: a shovel, an ice scraper, all that good kind of stuff. Jumper cables too. A few more things they say to keep in your car's emergency kit. Potentially another extra power source, extra cables, critical medications, and water bottles, just in case you get stuck somewhere in case of an emergency. And about 2 years ago, you may remember that major meltdown, disaster winter weather situation we saw along I-95 a couple years back. Not planning to see anything quite like that tomorrow, but always want to be prepared for the worst just in case something happens. I talked with VDOT officials who told me yesterday they had many crews already out and about on the roads. Tomorrow they're planning to have more than 700 trucks on standby across the region as that wintry mix moves in. You may have already noticed road changes spraying salt brine along major roadways in Northern Virginia, and that's to make sure that whatever we end up seeing here doesn't stick to the road. And while we may not be seeing heavy snow conditions here inside the Beltway, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the forecast.
You know, if you have travel plans this weekend, make sure you're monitoring the forecast, not only here locally, but along the entirety of the drive, along the route that you're taking to your destination, because you want to make sure you get there safely. Say you're heading areas to the west, I-81, southwestern and southwestern Virginia, still anticipating some wintry conditions. So you want to make sure that you're watching that closely.
Yeah, another thing to keep an eye on for tomorrow, your gas tank. Those levels may go up and down as you're driving throughout the region tomorrow. Make sure you fill up that gas tank before you go anywhere. You don't want to get stuck on the side of the road or in a bad situation without enough gas to get you where you're going or to keep you warm in case of an emergency. We'll be here with team coverage all night long into tomorrow morning when that storm is set to move in. Be sure to stick with DC News Now for the very latest. Live in Arlington, I'm Randy Bass. I'll send it back to you inside.
Randy, thank you. Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is planning to deploy the district snow team on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Nearly 150 snow plows will be sent across the district, and officials say that the district's Department of Transportation will treat bike lanes after the snow team clears roadways. Now, they also say that homeowners must clear snow and ice from their property immediately after any snowfall. The district is encouraging you to spread salt, kitty litter, or pet-friendly de-icer on your own ahead of the storm.
And if you're planning to hit the roads tomorrow, experts say you should be extra careful while driving in that storm. They also say you shouldn't accelerate quickly from a stoplight. Instead, keep a slow and steady speed at all times. Also, newer cars have anti-lock braking systems, so you do not have to pump your brakes to avoid skidding on ice while stopping. And most importantly, you are encouraged to stay off the roads if you can. And tomorrow throughout the day, we'll have full team coverage. Our meteorologists and reporters will be out in the field starting at 6 a.m. Just scan that QR code right there on your screen to download the app on your device. This will help you to get to the latest information as our team of meteorologists and forecasters track the minute-by-minute updates in your neighborhood this weekend.
Developing now, Hyattville police are investigating a shooting involving a 14-year-old boy near Northwestern High School.
And they say the shooting happened after someone demanded the teen's jacket.
Yeah, police say the 14-year-old is in critical but stable condition. The high school was on lockdown for a few hours.
Our Leonard N. Fleming is joining us live now from Hyattville, where local leaders say they are saddened and troubled by this shooting. Leonard, what else can you tell us?
Mark and Annalisa, this altercation happened right here on this walkway and within eyesight of this football field here at Northwestern High School. And then it spilled over to these brand new homes on my left. And there is where a teen was shot, police say, over his jacket. Police say they were called around 12:05 on Friday for a report of a shooting on Carnaby Street. Three male juveniles confronted three other juveniles for one of their jackets. When the teen refused to comply, he was shot in front of a home in this new development. Jared Towers is Hyattville's police chief. He says the neighborhood is shaken by the shooting, but insists it's still safe.
It's absurd. It's just another example of ruthless crime. We have a problem nationwide. This is not isolated to this community. This is a nationwide issue related to young adults involved in violent crime. And unfortunately, this is a circumstance that's here in our community and impacts folks who are here.
The chief says multiple shots were fired, but it actually hit the teen only once. And when I asked him about the teens and why they weren't in school, he said he didn't have answers for that, but this is still under investigation. Reporting from Hyattsville, Maryland, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now, back to you.
Leonard, thank you. Right now, Metro is encouraging riders to plan ahead this weekend. Track and infrastructure work will impact rail service on the red, blue, orange, and silver lines. On the red line, free shuttle buses will replace trains between Noma and Brookland stations there. The Rhode Island Avenue station will also be closed. On the silver line, trains will only run between Ashburn and Smithsonian. Many trains will only run every 15 to 18 minutes. The green and yellow lines will have extra trains running to accommodate riders there as well. These changes will be in place on both Saturday and Sunday. Well, turning now to sports, it's the final week of the regular season in the NFL. The Washington Commanders will wrap up a disappointing season Sunday afternoon when they host the Dallas Cowboys.
As for the Baltimore Ravens, they will host their division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Saturday afternoon and have already secured the top seed in the AFC. Sports Director Derek Forrest joins us in studio with a preview of both teams who are clearly on very different paths as we head into week 18 of the season. Hey, Derek.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Mark. This is a very different week for both the Washington Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens. For the Commanders, it will most likely be Ron Rivera's last game as the head man. Now, 4 years ago when he was hired, he was tasked with changing the culture both on and off the field. Now, while we're starting to see changes with the Josh Harris group off the field, the on-the-field product hasn't really changed. During Rivera's tenure, Washington is 26-39. All week long, Rivera has been asked if he thinks about his future.
I can't control anything beyond what we do here, more so than anything else. That's the truth of the matter. I mean, that's what I'm here for is to coach. I've gotten an opportunity to coach. There was a long period of time that I did a lot of managing, and in the last 4.5, 5 weeks, it's really been about coaching. So it's, just keeping focus on that has been something that I've tried to do, and just stay where I am. That old expression, be where your feet are.
As for the Baltimore Ravens, it's been a completely different story for them as a franchise, both historically and this season. The Ravens are currently the best team in the NFL with a 13-3 record and have secured the #1 seed in the AFC. They will sit a bunch of guys this week as they have more to play, including the postseason. But this week, it's about their rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's no lack of motivation, for sure. Just because first of all, it's an NFL game, and the guys playing in the game are going to be giving it all they've got. You have to. And the guys playing the game want to win each play, and they want to win the game. They're going to play their very best. They're going to play as hard as they possibly can. The other part of it, we're playing a division rival.
All right, both teams have a little something to play for. For the Ravens, it's about beating their division rivals. And for Ron Rivera and the Washington Commanders, it's playing for pride and more than likely sending Rivera out on a winning note. Guys.